we're here at the beautiful Journey at Pechanga in Temecula, California, and this is going to be the start of my journey back to the US Open, the Senior US Open, which will be Tuesday, May 28th is my qualifier up the road at Goose Creek in Europa. So what we're going to do today is go through how I'm going to start my preparation. So we're April 8th. And up to this point in 2024, I've played just a couple of times, practiced very little. So this is like the start date of now until May 28th. I'm gonna take you guys along my journey of how I'm gonna prepare, what I'm gonna do. Tyler's gonna be along my side a few days a week to go through what my preparation is gonna be, so I can get myself sharp enough to be competitive so we can get back in or be my first Senior Open. I don't feel that old. I know I don't look that old. That guy who we just met this morning, he looks that old, but we're not that old yet. So hope you enjoy. I'm sure you'll pick up a few good tips of what we're gonna do, what I'm gonna take you through. When I get back into playing after taking a long break, for me, I don't get a lot of technical in this little box when I'm on the driving range. I try to get response to target. So I've got a target here, it's 58 yards. And rather than going through all the technical thoughts of how to, I simply look at that. I got plenty of balls, and I'm just going through different feels and different patterns of how to hit a 58-yard shot. So that was a little bit lower. This one would be a little bit higher, and all I'm doing is diving back into my feels, not into my technicals. So with about a month and a half to go, I will spend most of my time just on getting my feels back, getting reacquainted with my release patterns of different flighted shots. So the time I do spend on the range isn't technical, and I'll minimize the time that I do, and I'll spend more time getting out on the golf course and hitting shots, because that gets me more in response to target mode, not technical. So after hitting just a couple 58-yard shots, there's another target out here that's 100. So I'll shift over, I'll look at that. Again, I'm allowing my senses to pick up on what needs to happen to go to a 100-yard shot, not thinking of I gotta get my wrist here and gotta bend my elbow and get up the plane. So it's getting immersed into my target as I look and get comfortable, so I allow comfort to guide me. And then I just go through hitting some shots, and if I feel something is off, then I get more immersed in my target rather than trying to go through a checklist of my technicals. As I get warmed up and I do want to spend some time on some technical things, then I will separate performance and go to learning and really get into feels of what I'm trying to do. But in the beginning, as I'm just getting back into it, my body's not fully synced up to get very technical, so I won't spend much time there. Further down the road, and we'll talk about it in the weeks to come, if I'm not trending a way that I want to, I might dive into a couple things that I know might be a little bit off, and I'll get them synced and sharpened back up before May 28th. When I take time off, the one big thing that takes a while to come back is the speed of my body. I have to go at a pace to where at this moment, I'm going to be synced up as optimally as I can. So when I try to push it too hard, my body's not going to respond the way it will 6 weeks from now. So I take it very slow as I get back into rhythm with practice. So it's so easy for me because I get excited to be out here to start going too fast too soon, and I start hitting it all over the place because my body's not going as fast as I want it to, but I'm trying to push numbers. I'm trying to push, say my pitching wedge to 140 yards. It's like my arms want to go, but my body's not there to support it, so I'd be all out of sync. So I have to make sure as I get back into rhythm of play and practice that I go at a pace that my body's gonna accept and be synced up with, so I don't try to outrace the process. It's super important knowing that when you take time off to allow for the right amount of time. I was told years ago from an old coach of mine, Dick Huff, up in the Bay Area, for as many days as you take off, that's as many days as you can expect to be back to where you were. I monitored that over the last 30 years, and it was a bit true, but I found myself getting back up to speed before the amount of days I had taken off. Finding your optimal patterns of, being away from the game and then getting back into it could take just a little bit of time, no big deal. So when I'm coming down, right, I'm really compressing it. Say hi to Randy. Randy Martin, we just met half hour ago. You'll try to hit it with your hands and arms, okay? So you'll try to go fast here, trying to make it go. I'm delaying the speed of the club head and allowing it to fall deeper down the plane. And then when I turn, then I can really compress it. So I'm not having to swing at it that hard to get it to go, 100 yards or so. I'll have it attached to my body rotation. Oh, that was pretty good. So as it's coming down the plane, I'm gonna hit it with my wrist working this way. So it de-lofts it just a tad. And then when I get into impact, I feel like my right hand is pressing and releasing down into the ground, and my right side also goes down, but my left side's coming up. So that allows me to compress it and hit it without it making it look like I'm doing a whole lot. So it's like training a horse. Randy trains horses, real high quality, competitive, successful horses, knowing how the geometry and mechanics work for the way the horse needs to do what it needs to, whatever discipline you're doing. Then you train that horse, and I'm guessing, I don't know anything about horses, but you're training the horse in sequence to get around a barrel to where everything is moving as it should when it should. So it's synced up to explode out of a barrel effortlessly. Easier than golf. Everything's easier than golf. This has got to be the most difficult thing because we'll never own it. We'll just suck less at it as we go. I'm gonna go to pitching wedge. So I'm gonna work up the bag a little bit. What I'm doing is getting reacquainted with my clubs, getting reacquainted with my movements. I'll spend, today I'll spend a couple hours just going through the motions. It's such a beautiful day, and we've got this beautiful eclipse that's supposed to be happening right now. So it's kind of a cool day to be out here. So I got a pitching wedge, and I've got a target out there. It's about 124 yards. So I'll start with hitting my pitching wedge just in the 100-yard range, not trying to press the pace too much yet, just feeling the sequencing the way that I like it, feeling my body moving first before the club starts to change directions at the top. Once I do start to feel my body respond, as I get up here and I'm moving into the ground and then pushing off the ground, and I feel this part moving, because I feel synced up, so I can speed it up a little bit without feeling like I'm hitting from the top with my hands. Wow, this is pretty good. I should do this for a living. Delete that one. Little shank. So when I do feel my sequencing gets off, when I'm trying to press the pace a little bit, I'll bring it back down. So I've got, got pitching wedge. I'll just bring it back down and hit some little shots again, getting synced back up. I won't try to solve my problems up at 85, 90% hitting fuller shots. I'll bring it back down before I go back up. So when I do feel getting synced back up, I'll start to mess around with some release patterns just to play, because it's fun. I know I'm not going to be real sharp, so my expectations are low, but it's fun. I make sure I enjoy when I'm out here getting it put back together. I make sure I enjoy the process. One more up. I got 8-iron now, so we'll go from pitching wedge. So I've gone 58, pitching wedge, now my 8. Same process. I'll just go through a couple shots, kind of in the 120, 30 yard range, not pressing pace too much. Just feeling the length and the weight of the club being different from the pitching wedge. And most of the shots that I hit when I get back into playing are these 3/4 body shots. So, throughout this video, you didn't see me take, a big full finish. Everything has been about 3/4, because I'm really getting my body to move. So I want my arms synced up to my body rotation. So all the finishes seem to be cut off a little bit, because I'm trying to use my body. That's the first thing I get back after, is getting everything synced up, getting my body moving the way it needs to, and getting my hands and arms and my release pattern attached to my body rotation. So most of what I do will be these 3/4 body shots. And for me, that feels the best through this area before I just start letting the arms run free with this big release. If I were to get into some technical feels, I'm gonna put my aiming stick down. I'm gonna grab my pitching wedge. I'm gonna go through being assembled on plane, getting in that horizontal spot that we talk about. When it's horizontal with the ground, it's parallel with my plane line. And I'll feel the club rise up. I'll feel my body just falling into my left. I'll feel my arms falling down. I'll feel my matchups getting back to this point and then turning in and releasing, and then just feeling the exit. The technical things that I want to happen, I'll go through feels and I'll see with my eyes where my matchups are. And the shots that I do hit will be very slow, very small, just laying the foundation of what I want to happen, which is being assembled on plane and getting my sequencing proper to where when I come up and I change directions and my arms start to fall, I'm just bumping into my left side. As I start to rotate, the first thing that would cross this line would be my hip. The second would be my left side. The third thing would be my left arm. The fourth would be my hands. The fifth would be the club head. And then my right side would finish things off. So that would be the sequencing that I want to feel. So to do that, I go just very small shots. And I do it not through mental technical positions, but rather through feels, because I know what it feels like, right? As you guys are building yours, you may take it through some technical thought, but I know what it feels like. I know what it peripherally looks like. So all I do is go through feeling what I want, and I'll just rehearse and repeat some very small movements. When I hear that sound at the bottom and I feel the hands being led through impact and I just stop here, I know for me that I'm matched up exactly how I want to be. Part of getting back into it is enjoying the process. It's a lot of fun being out here, especially at Journey at Pechanga. This place is absolutely beautiful. I'm looking down at it. This looks like a lot of loft. Maybe you have too much loft, which you know what that is, right? When you have too much loft, lack of fucking talent. For me, one shot that I really like to hit, I've got an 8-iron, would be kind of a low fade. Getting synced back up and getting my speed back, it helps me to go low and keep it working left to right, so I really feel my left side working harder so the hands can't pass. So it's really getting my left side to go. So as I feel better about my body and my movements right now, I am going to move into hitting kind of low fades, see if I can push my body some. When I work on it and I like it, I might stay there for a few, but I won't stay there too long. Because I know at some point, if my body's not ready and I keep trying to push it, it'll break down. For me, I'll kick into some technical things that I do, and I don't want to do that, not at this point. I have to be real conscious of where my body is, where my swing is, so I don't go down technical rabbit holes as I get back into it. I'll know when things are firing if something's wrong, and I'll know where and when to fix it, but this being the first day back, it's not today. And I'll be real sensitive of what I try to fix. I won't keep trying to problem solve it. I'll just kind of move on. I just went from 8-iron to driver. And what I feel right away with driver, with it being a bigger arc, my body is not allowing me to make the turn that I want. And I feel restriction. This heel might come up a little bit, so it throws me off, throws my body movements off. So I'm gonna hit some, and I'm not gonna expect a lot because I can feel it. But in the next 6 weeks, as I put more time into stretching and hitting more drivers, then I'll create that width again, and my body will be able to give it up to where I can get the club up and down the plane and get the sequencing and the speed back without it being sloppy. Because driving, for me, driver is the one club in the bag I can always count on. I know what it does. I know how to move it around. I'm long enough to where I'm gonna reach par 5s. I don't have to gear back and hit it a ton. So getting it synced up for me is going to be very important between now and May 28th. And I'll spend a lot of time. I'll have days where I come out and I'll hit a whole bucket like this, maybe 150 balls with just my driver, just getting things synced back and stretched back out. Getting speed back in my body with driver, even though I'm trying to get synced up and it goes against a little bit of what we've been doing with the irons, I'll push the speed a little bit, not caring where my ball goes. I just want my body to start going faster. I'll sync that up in the next six weeks, but even today being first day back, I'll go ahead and I'll try to hammer driver just to see if I can get some speed, and I'll go up and I'll feel the delay in my hands and I'll get into my left side and I'll go ahead and swing it hard, which right now it'll be about 87 miles an hour. Just kidding. And I'm not matched up for successful shots, but I am feeling my body move a little bit more aggressively. As I get back into sharpening my game, getting ready to compete, speed is a big part of it, especially with the driver. But I'm not gonna swing it recklessly just to go faster, but I am gonna start pushing my body with the driver so it can start to recognize that we're gonna be going fast. And when I do catch one, God dang, it feels good. So that's getting into about 300 carry. We got a little headwind, but a little downhill. You know, for me, it's like, I'm gonna see in the next few weeks, I'll see another maybe 10 to 15 yards max on that. I'm not gonna get much past that. But most of my drives will be, you know, in the 285 to 300 range. But it feels good for me, for my body to move a little more aggressively and a little faster and get the matchups. I know in the weeks to come, I know what to look for and what to feel. It'll give me confidence knowing that day one, I'm in a pretty good spot with the irons up to the driver, and the weeks to come, I know I'll be in a pretty good spot, be ready to compete. So we'll have some fun preparing. Not gonna certainly take it too seriously. We're gonna have a lot of fun getting back into the game and see what we do on May 28th. Come along for the ride.